wants 6 months to prepare if the fight is locked in. And what's 6 months from now? September? Now I'm sure money talks, but it feels like the summer.
Is Jon Jones scared to fight you?
Yes. Jon is conning the public. The fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year.
Is that fight fucking happening?
The UFC are saying that it's going to happen. I think it's down to him and Dana.
Dana loves Jon Jones.
He's trying to grease up his ego a little bit. I think
Jon Jones has finally agreed to fight Tom Aspinall, but only on one strict condition. This isn't just another fight for Jon. No, it's personal. He's got something to prove. Tom Aspinall has been making serious noise during Jon's time away, and Jon's not having it. People around him say this fight is Jon's way of silencing the hype. He wants to shut it down once and for all. Jon's belief is simple. Tom hasn't earned the right to be compared to him. In his eyes, MMA is a long, punishing journey, and Tom is still in the early chapters. Jon wants to show him exactly what it means to be great. But not everyone agrees. Some think this might actually be the beginning of the end for Jon Jones.
Fans shouldn't even have to make a petition to strip Jon Jones of the belt. That just shows you how dumb the UFC matchmaking is, especially when it comes to Jon Jones and all the way that the UFC operates around Jon Jones. The way that Jon Jones has Dana and the organization by the nuts is crazy.
And the shocker? Rico Verhoeven, one of the most respected and dangerous strikers in combat sports, is backing Aspinall. Rico didn't hold back in his interview. He said Tom is going to wipe the floor with Jon, that Jon doesn't stand a chance. Rico believes Tom is a complete beast, not just on the ground, but standing up too. So much so that he even said Tom could compete in kickboxing. That's a big deal coming from someone like Rico.
One guy who could mimic a Jon Jones on the feet is Rico Verhoeven.
He's going to wipe the floor. He's going to wipe the floor with Jon Jones.
You believe
Jon Jones
100%.
doesn't have a chance versus Tom Aspinall. Mark my words. Tom Aspinall is a freaking monster.
I love it.
On his feet and on the ground. So, and I truly believe that Jon Jones has never faced somebody that is that good on his feet.
And Rico's bold support got everyone talking. But that wasn't the end of the doubts. UFC contender Curtis Blades also gave his opinion, and he doesn't believe the fight will even happen. He said Jon probably won't fight Aspinall at all.
But what did you make of it when you heard Jon calling out Alex of all people?
I think he does do this because, Alex Perez now he's like big star in the UFC, everybody loves him, so he knows what he's doing, but I believe he should to fight against Aspinall, but I think he a little bit afraid of him, because Aspinall is someone who can really stop him and beat him.
Yeah,
that's what maybe he believes, but that's what I think that he believes if he can, fight against Pereira, he can take him out.
Curtis didn't call Jon scared, but he questioned if Jon could hang with a real prime heavyweight. He pointed out that Jon's wins over Cyril Gane and an aging Stipe Miocic don't tell the full story. Stipe wasn't in his prime anymore. Curtis thinks a younger version of Stipe might have made Jon pay during that fight.
It's the legacy. To be able to go to the heavyweight division, take out everyone, and then take out the Jon Jones legend, and then go back to even beating a few of these new school guys, will literally put Tom Aspinall as the GOAT of the heavyweight division.
But Curtis also gave credit. He said if Jon does take the fight and wins, he'll finally be seen as the true GOAT of the heavyweight division, and even if he loses, people would understand. He's getting older, he's not a real heavyweight by nature, but at least he fought.
I see quite a few people here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Meanwhile, Aspinall is clearly frustrated. On a podcast with Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen, he vented. He said Jon is retired, he's done, and that Tom already retired Jon without even stepping into the cage with him.
Your thoughts on Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, and if they fought, who do you think would win? John Jones. Tom Aspinall have the advantage of the really fast attacks, but if the John will be prepared if he will have the good preparation, he will defend every his attack from Tom.
And it's weird how the fan base switches up, because John's been on top, #1, 20 years, and then a new big guy comes around, John goes to heavyweight, and they just forget history.
Tom said the division is finally moving forward. Heavyweights are being noticed again. No more long delays, no more silence. He said he's ready to fight everyone. He even revealed he has a fight date and location locked in, but didn't say who it's against.
And almost ignoring the right thing. You can then stick it to everybody like you've done on so many different occasions and tell them about it. I can tell you guys on good authority, if I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought him, 1000%. Knowing how dangerous, it would have done nothing but excite me. I mean, this dude, John Jones, still talking. Come.
And then came John's cryptic response at a seminar in Phuket. When asked about fighting Aspinall, he didn't say much, but he said enough. He said he, the UFC, and Tom are working on things behind the scenes, that he couldn't speak much legally. But the hint was clear, talks were happening.
Put your money on it. What do you think is the headliner of UFC 317?
If I had to put my money on it, I think they convinced Tom Aspinall to fight Cyril Gane. I think if I had to put my money on it, I think that's the one that's being this far out. Like we're a couple weeks away, and
2 months.
Yeah, we're 2 months out, and I think that they'll throw a number. Like Tom wants to fight, and he'll be like, "All right, I'll fight."
That was all fans needed. People had been accusing John of ducking Tom for nearly 2 years, but coach Javier Mendez thinks John is controlling everything. He called John the puppet master, said John knows exactly how to use the media. Even Dana White seems confused. Mendez says this is John playing the mental game.
See the petition online from the fans?
Yeah.
What did you just make of that?
Every human on earth was DMing it to me, and yeah, I saw it.
I mean, I know you say you always listen to the fans and give the fans what they want. I'm just curious what you make of that.
How many fans are there worldwide now? Like, what's the number? It's like 400 million or something like that. Yeah, 130,000 people want to see him stripped.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not enough.
No, I'm not saying that. It's kind of fucking silly.
Still, when asked who would win, Mendez slightly favored John. He said if John accepts a fight, it usually means he already believes he'll win, but even he admitted that Tom is a monster. This won't be easy.
It's your job to pay attention to these things. But conveniently, Dana White has been busy. Now, we all know that Dana White knows what's been going on with John Jones. This is just his way of avoiding any sort of responsibility for it, or I haven't really been paying attention to any of that stuff, because if I was paying attention, then I'd have some real answers for you guys, and I'd really...
Now, here's the big question. Does John really believe he can beat Aspinall? His silence, the delays, the cryptic comments, all of it has fans wondering. Is he unsure or just making sure he gets the biggest paycheck possible before risking everything?
This is the greatest promo I've ever heard. He just announced his nemesis' retirement. And to add to it, Daniel, he wished him well. Now, that's not something you would do of an enemy. That's something you would do of a former foe. So perhaps we are in the presence of the undisputed champion. I mean, he said he was, after all. And let me tell you something that Tom is. Not only is he a champion, he's the...
Boza chimed in too after his TKO win. He said fans are dreaming of a John Jones versus Francis Ngannou fight, but the real appetite now? It's for Tom Aspinall.
Like, people are starting acting surprised. Oh, John's a duck, this, that, and the other. John Jones ducked Francis Ngannou for 3 years. Like, don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at there.
People want something real, not fantasy, not posters. They want legitimacy. They want to crown the real king of heavyweights. And right now, that's not John. It's Tom Aspinall. UFC President Dana White seems to agree. John vs. Tom is the direction they're heading, and Ngannou is no longer in the UFC. And John, if he wants to stay champion, he has only one real option, Tom Aspinall. But John wants 6 months to prepare if the fight is signed today. That means we're looking at September, and that clock is ticking. Daniel Cormier hit back hard when John mocked him and Chael Sonnen online. Cormier said this isn't about back and forths, it's about legacy. If you hold the belt and a young, hungry challenger is calling you out, you fight. Cormier made it clear. If he were champion right now, he'd already have fought Tom. John, he said, isn't acting like a champion ready to prove himself. He's acting like someone trying to delay the inevitable. And then Stuart Austin spoke up. Yes, that's Stuart Austin, the guy who once submitted Aspinall with a heel hook. Even he said that Tom has evolved way past anything John has shown recently. He believes Tom would knock John out. He even admitted that as much as he loves Tom, John's fight IQ is unmatched. But still, he sees Tom and even Ngannou's more dangerous in today's game. Austin warned that John's spinning techniques, his timing, his speed, they're not what they used to be. He said John is missing shots and leaving openings, and Tom sees those openings. Austin believes Tom's team already knows how to exploit those gaps, and John might not be ready for what's coming. And it's not just fighters speaking up. Colby Covington, never one to hold back, said John's performance against Stipe was nothing special. That he's old, just showing up for the check. Covington said John ducked Ngannou, and now he's ducking Aspinall. He predicted John will retire instead of fighting him. Covington also claimed that John is asking for $40, 0 cents, to $50 million, 0 cents, to fight Tom. He said that's not a negotiation, that's a coded no, that John is using money to avoid the fight. Too many voices, too many red flags, the delays, the silence, the excuses. Something's up. Jon Jones vs. Tom Aspinall could be the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history, and yet it hasn't been made official. That says a lot. Jon teased fans after his last fight. He said he needed to sit down with Dana and Hunter to give them the fight. He didn't say Tom's name, but we all know who he meant. This isn't Cyril Gane, this isn't Old Stipe, this is Tom Aspinall. Light on his feet, scary fast hands, calm under pressure, a man who has nothing to lose and everything to prove. His only real loss? A freak knee injury 15 seconds into a fight. Since then, he's destroyed everyone. Meanwhile, John is 38, he's been out of the cage. His timing, his power, it's all under question. He may be the greatest light heavyweight ever, but heavyweights? That's a different beast, and time doesn't wait for anyone. Sometimes it's not what people say, it's what they don't say. John's silence is starting to speak louder than any press release. The longer this drags out, the more fans feel like John might walk away before ever facing Aspinall. Dana White just said John agreed to the fight, but now it's back to square one. That's heartbreaking. The offer was there, John agreed, and then silence again. If this fight doesn't happen, the UFC isn't just losing a super fight, they're leaving a big hole at the top of the division. Because if Jon Jones never fights Tom Aspinall, there'll always be an asterisk, an empty page in the UFC history books. Question that never got an answer, a legacy left incomplete.